If you are new here, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. If you like the content, appreciate it by giving it a thumbs up and sharing your views in the comments down below.
Simmering tensions between Russia and Ukraine. In the latest, US President Joe Biden says that he has warned his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin that a move on Ukraine will draw sanctions and an increased US presence in Europe. Now, these statements by US President Joe Biden came after US and Russian leaders exchanged warnings over Ukraine. This took place in a 50-minute call on Thursday to address the Russian military buildup at the border.
I made it clear to President Putin that if he makes any more moves and goes into Ukraine, we will have severe sanctions. We will increase our presence in Europe with our NATO allies, and it will have to be a heavy price to pay for it.
Biden further said that Putin had agreed on 3 major conferences next month. This all in a bid to find a resolution to the current Ukraine-Russia tensions.
What I got the sense of is that he's agreed that we would have 3 major conferences in Europe beginning in the middle of the month with our senior staffs that relate to the OSCE, the Russia-NATO Council, as well as continuation of discussions on our strategic doctrine. And so he did not disagree with any of that. And he laid out some of his concerns about NATO and the United States and Europe, and we laid out ours, and we said we began to negotiate some of those issues. But I made it clear that they only could work if, in fact, he de-escalated, not escalated the situation.
Now, on questions if Moscow would face sanctions if troops are kept on the border, Biden said that he is not going to negotiate in public, but emphasized that Russia cannot move on Ukraine. Now, the Biden-Putin exchange has further set the stage for a lower-level engagement between the countries that includes the US-Russia security meeting on January 9th and 10th. Meanwhile, apart from this, according to a White House official, US President Joe Biden will be meeting Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelinsky on Sunday. Now, staying on this story, as the year comes to an end, what has been dominating the geopolitics is the Ukraine crisis. Almost everywhere, there is one question: will Russia invade its neighbor? Now, to defuse tensions, US President Joe Biden held a phone call with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, for the second time in the last few weeks. Now, the talks were supposed to bring clarity, rein in the nerves, and bring down the temper. However, it ended with a pledge to restart diplomatic discussions, but no indication that Russia was preparing to de-escalate. The Kremlin voiced that the new sanctions could completely rupture the existing ties between both the countries.
Мы не знаем, что предполагает, что такой масштабной санкции, мы тоже не знаем. Но мы знаем, что это будет колоссальная ошибка, которая может привести к серьезным, к самым серьезным последствиям. Но надеемся, что этого не будет. Но с этой целью мы, и, собственно, и мы, и американцы, и другие западные страны начинают переговорный процесс по 3 трекам.
Now, despite the talk of diplomacy, officials on both sides later described that the tone of the call was confrontational, and neither side admitted to any significant progress towards a resolution. Biden, according to senior US officials, laid out 2 paths. Now, one was diplomacy and the other path more focused on deterrence. That would include serious costs and consequences. The possibilities include measures that would effectively disconnect Russia from the global economic and financial system. Now, despite the hard stance taken by both leaders, experts are divided. Some are optimistic that tensions will cool and things will change for the good, while others say that the tensions are continue to linger on.
After the call between Biden and Putin, I can say that we are one step closer to the war. During the call, it seems like during the call, Putin showed defiance toward the Western sanctions in case he attacks Ukraine.
I think we have to look past the posturing, each side showing how determined and resolute they are, and just marvel at the fact that this diplomatic process is taking place and it's being managed from the top. Putin and Biden have had 2 face-to-face conversations, well, over Zoom, but in less than a month. And these talks are absolutely unprecedented that are going to occur in a couple of weeks. So I think that we have to be optimistic that something will change.
The foundation of good relations is not the chemistry between the leaders. It goes much broader than that. It goes much further than that. So yes, as long as the leaders talk to each other, that's not a bad thing. But the foundation of healthy and good relations, bilateral diplomatic relations, would require extensive efforts on the parliament, between the parliaments, between the Department of State and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, between the military.
Now, the call between the 2 leaders for now has set the stage for lower-level engagements between the 2 countries. The first of which is scheduled on January 10th, an in-person security meeting between US and Russian officials in Geneva.